Jason Tate here, head coach of Southwest Swim, and welcome to Dryland session number 21. And today we're going to dial it down a little bit. The last 3 weeks or so have been quite energetic. This week we're going to work on technique and isolating certain muscle groups to fire them up for swimming. But the boring stuff out of the way first. You do all of these exercises at your own risk. They are mainly swim cord generated exercises that I as a swim coach would give to swimmers as additional exercises to perform outside of their sessions on dry land, or as part of a warm-up or a cool-down to a swim session. If anything starts to hurt, please stop doing the exercise straight away, and always use the best form you have possible so you can avoid injury. Now, all of these sessions are given to you free of charge, and I hope you enjoy them. But if you do really like the session, please do consider leaving a session donation fee. The links are in the session set itself, either via our booking system or PayPal. That's most appreciated if you can do that. It helps us create the content and keep going over lockdown. But if you can't do that, do not worry. Please still do the routine. The main thing we want to get over when we're delivering these to you is keeping you active, both mentally and physically, throughout the lockdown. So that's the boring stuff done. Now we can get to the session itself. So as always, go through the warm-up that we give you in the session plan. Get your body ready for the exercise itself. Now, as I mentioned, this week's set is very isolating in the way we're going to isolate the shoulders and triceps, and we're going to work on our swim technique, our swim pull, catch and pull technique under the water, so to speak, but without that water, using a swim band instead. So after you've done the warm-up, what you want to do is grab your swim bands. We're going to use these quite heavily this week. Okay, I'm using a light swim band for the main part of my exercises, but there is an option when we do certain exercises to use a heavier band. Now the first exercise we're going to do is sculling. So we're going to work through skull 1 and skull 2 movements. Most of the program today, apart from one part of it, is 60 seconds of movement, 20 seconds of transition or rest. All right, so it's nice and easy to time for you. So our first exercise is skull 1. We're going to come back, our hands are going to be here. I want your fingertips slightly lower than the wrist and wrist lower than the elbow. So from the side, that would look like so. And all we are going to do is a skull movement. So feet shoulder width apart, knees bent, nice straight back, and we're just going to bring those bands out to the side. Now if you wanted to make this a bit harder, just step back and add a little bit more resistance onto those bands. So we're doing 60 seconds. I want you to really focus on keeping good form at the front of the stroke. After that one, 20 seconds rest, as we said, and then we're going to the skull 2 movement. So I'm going to move back slightly so you can see that. And skull 2 movement, instead of being out front, we want our hand underneath our elbow, underneath our shoulder. And we're going to do this slightly differently. We're going to do 5 movements to the side, like so. Just moving the shoulder, coming through, and then 5 very small pulses backwards. And then we move back to that sideways action, and then 5 very small pulses backwards, so as if we're pressing water back on that band. So that's our skull 2 exercise. Then we're going to put the 2 together. We're going to go skull 1 to skull 2 pull. We're going to come from here, and both arms at the same time. I want you to just roll those shoulders over, get into that catch position, and then press backwards so that we're in that skull 2, and then we rise that arm to the front again, into the same position. I'll move back so you can see me on the camera. So we're going to roll and then press to there. So we don't want to go further than our hand to shoulder here. Okay, that's our third exercise. Our fourth exercise is a slow pull. So we're going to really slow it down. This is where we can use a heavier band if you want to, because we're going very slow and focused and concentrated. So that is basically coming from here, that skull 1 position, skull 2, and then back. When you come back in this rear position, please don't extend the elbow. You still want that loose elbow, as if you were swimming and just lifting the elbow out of the water. We don't want to lock up. And then return to that front position. So we're moving in a swimulation pattern. We're just really focusing on the movement, nice and slow. Then we have our first lot of swimulation for the day. 4 lots of 60 seconds on, 20 seconds off. Again, using those lighter bands. I want you to really focus on your technique on this one. So really slow it down. If you're working at stroke rate, you're looking at stroke rate on the finished tempo trainer, you're looking at setting your tempo trainer to your stroke rate -2 or 4 strokes a minute. Maybe 6 if you really want to get down and focus with that movement. Part 2 of our circuit brings us to some more core exercises. What we're going to do is some shoulder pulses high. So 60 seconds of high shoulder pulse. So we're here. Remember, this is the beginning of our Y position here. And we're just going to pulse those shoulders back with the bands. 60 seconds on, 20 seconds off. And then we're going to do the same. Let me move back so you can see, of low shoulder pulses. So we're holding our bands here and we're just moving back just past the hip and just pulsing those shoulders backwards. Okay, so we're working our rear shoulder muscles there. Then we come to an upright row. This is where you can use that heavier band. We're just going to squeeze those shoulder blades together and come forward under control. So again, very concentrated movements. And then we do our tricep press. Tricep press, let me demonstrate about the bands. You're facing away from your anchor point, so my bands are behind me. You keep this part of the arm, the upper part of the arm, nice and sturdy and straight, and you just press forwards using the resistance of a band. So that would look from behind, like so. So I'm facing away, arms nice and stable, and I'm just pressing those bands away, hitting the triceps. And again, we want to do that with great technique, and nice and focused and concentrated. Then we come into our second lot of simulation, which is 30 seconds. So this is the only difference in the whole set, where we're trading our 60 seconds for 30. So obviously these are going to be a little bit faster. So what I want you to do is stroke rate or stroke rate +2 or 4. All right. Easy as that. 30 seconds on, 20 seconds off. All right. And that's the set done. So you can go through that 2, 3 or 4 times. It's very modular. You can fit this in every day if you really wish to. Just doing one block through and enjoy it. Firing up that technique a little bit this week. If you wanted to join us live to do this session, if you're a Swim Squad swimmer, remember to log in. That's on Wednesday evening at 7 p.m. So when I'm recording this tonight, basically, book in via the block booking system, and we'll do this session over Zoom, have a little bit of a chat and everything else. So enjoy the session. I hope you do. Feedback as normal would be most appreciated, and I will see you next week for session number 22. See you soon. Bye bye.